Hey, how's everybody doing? This is Coach Wood, and I am pumped up, you guys, to be with you today. We've got another great day with another great episode of the Weekday Huddle with Coach Wood. So, thank you for joining us. If this is your very first time coming by the channel, welcome. This is the Before You Go Pro channel. This is a channel, you guys, designed for the football players out there, the parents of football players, the coaches, the fans that are serious about this game, serious about learning the business side of this game, the recruiting side of this game, and how to take it to the next level. Well, Before You Go Pro, you guys, we work with athletes across the country. This is a labor of love for me. I've been doing it for well over 2 decades. And the game is crazy. The game is crazy nowadays, but there is huge opportunity if you know what you're doing. Okay, so we want to make sure that our audience knows what they're doing. So if you are joining us for the very first time, or if you haven't already, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you are notified whenever we release a new episode of the Weekday Huddle with Coach Wood. And we have tons of other content too that you should be notified about. Also, go down to the description box. We have curated some great football resources for you athletes, you parents, you coaches out there. A lot of you guys are in the midst of recruiting right now. You need to make sure you're making the right moves with that. Also, some of you guys need to find out and educate yourself more on NIL. So we want to make sure that you guys are gamed up and that you're not getting scammed and you know what to do to get to the next level. We are excited about this episode, you guys, because this one is going to hit home for a lot of you young athletes out there and you parents out there. Also, a lot of you high school and junior college coaches starting to figure out some things too. So we want to bring something practical to you guys today. And today is realizing when the business model has changed. Realizing when the business model has changed, you guys, in the recruiting game. And with Before You Go Pro, we help kids across the country get to the next level. So we work with high school, junior college athletes, have for years. We have relationships with college coaches, and we do the matchmaking. We're the matchmakers, right? But you have to realize when the business model has changed. So years and years of doing this, every so often you look and you got to tweak some things. You got to tweak some things because something you're doing isn't working as good, or something with the industry has changed. Well, things have changed a lot when it comes to college football recruiting. And I'm talking about at the highest level. What we consider the highest level, you guys, is the Division I and the Division II levels. Those are the highest levels of college football. All right. You're going to find the best athletes, the best coaches at those two levels. A lot has changed at both of those levels. A lot, you guys. And I'm not talking about a lot in the last 5 to 10 years. I'm talking about a lot in the last year to 2 years. I'm in this industry. My team is in this industry on a daily basis. We talk to athletes, parents, and coaches on a daily basis. A lot has changed. A lot of the coaches are still trying to catch up and figure out how to navigate this thing. So one thing that many of the high school athletes have quickly started to realize is that they're losing opportunity because of the transfer portal. So if you don't know, if you're just getting into this game, maybe you're a parent, now coaches at the college level can actually grab guys after the season from other teams, guys who have playing experience, guys who are older, guys who can immediately come help their team after the football season. They can go grab guys from North Carolina, and now he can go play at Clemson. Or they can go grab this kid over here at LSU, and now he can go play at Texas. They can grab kids from this team and bring them on this team. It's free agency. So because of the money, it has increased the need and the pressure for these schools, these coaches to win immediately. And most coaches, especially at the highest level, you guys are going to figure they cannot win with a kid that's fresh out of high school, that's wet behind the ears, 18, 17 years old, fresh out of high school. At the highest level, your odds are going to be slim to none. So what has happened is there has been a drastic decrease on college coaches, programs recruiters being eager to go look for high school kids. When I was coming out of high school in the late 90s, that was the model. The model was the high school kid. You take a few junior college kids and you build the program. You develop the people. You put talent in the cupboard. Nowadays, they don't do it that way. They go purchase the talent that's ready to come in. They're not worried about the development piece. Okay, there's no time to develop. So if we do go get a high school kid, then that kid has to be ready to play. He has to be ready to, and this is what we're hearing in the industry, to be in the two deep. He has to be in the first string or the second string. If I'm San Diego State's coach, I need to win right now. I'm Tennessee's coach, Josh Heupel. I need to win right now. And if I'm looking at this high school kid, he better be in the two deep. Because if I go get this high school kid and I find out that we got to sit him, he's not ready, we could have got the O lineman from Arkansas State. We could have got that D lineman from Cincinnati that was ready. So now that's on us as a coaching staff. So the model has changed, and the high school kids, the coaches, the parents, they're starting to catch on, but I don't think they have fully caught on to the gravity of it and the urgency that needs to take place. Back in my day, they used to say, if you're good, they'll find you. And you got until your senior year to make something happen. Nowadays, you better get your recruiting antennas up. You better be at those showcases and those camps, those unofficial visits a lot earlier nowadays. If you're a high school kid, especially if you're not a 5.4 or a high 3-star, you better be strategic. Whenever anything is scarce, whenever anything is more valuable, it's harder to obtain, you better be strategic. If I want a high valued piece of art, I'm not going to be able to go to Target and find that piece of art. I might not even be able to find it in my community or in my state. I might have to be strategic to find that piece of art. Think about maybe some items that you're thinking about during the holidays. It's getting close to Christmas at the time that we're filming this. And think about you're trying to get something for somebody that you care about. Well, there's going to be less and less stuff on the shelf the longer you wait and the closer it gets to Christmas. So what do you have to do with your Christmas shopping? You got to be strategic. So it is no different today for you young football players, especially if you're coming from the high school level. You have to be more strategic than ever before. A matter of fact, that's the biggest thing, or one of the biggest things that we really tout with Before You Go Pro, and that we're proud of, is that we give each athlete their own individual strategy. So here's a perfect example of just realizing how a model has changed. The recruiting model has changed in college football. Back in the previous years, we used to find an athlete that was talented. Maybe he was a high school kid or a junior college kid. And if we had time on the timeline, we would go after the low-hanging fruit. So what's the low-hanging fruit, Coach Wood? The low-hanging fruit are the teams that had terrible seasons last year, that really struggled last year. And let's say that this kid is a defensive back, and you can see that, wow, not only did their team struggle, but they gave up a lot of touchdowns, passing touchdowns. That team would be considered low-hanging fruit. We would know that they were looking for talent, but we would also know that their talent was going to come from the high school or junior college ranks. So we could put that kid in front of them, and maybe he was even a little bit better than that school, but he didn't have anything in his back pocket. So we're trying to get him something in his back pocket. We're going to go after the low-hanging fruit. We're going to go after something that we could pluck quickly, right? Well, the low-hanging fruit today In college football, as we move through 2025 to 2026, the low-hanging fruit teams, you guys, are going after older players. Because why? Because they need to get back on track. They need to win now. You saw Syracuse lost like their last 7 games. And part of the reason was because their first string quarterback got hurt and their second string quarterback couldn't do nothing. So they lost 7 games straight. What does that do? That puts a huge strain on Coach Fran and that coaching staff. So what did he say? He said, I'm going in the transfer portal to go get 2 quarterbacks because I'm not going to have what happened to me this past season happen to me again, and then me and my family got to look for a new place to stay. I'm not having that. I'm going for 2 quarterbacks out of the transfer portal. When he says out of the transfer portal, he's saying I'm going for 2 older quarterbacks. He's not looking at high school this year. Now, they would be considered low-hanging fruit if you thought you had an ACC level talented quarterback that didn't have anything, and you're looking at Syracuse and you're like, wow, they're terrible. They probably need a quarterback. You would put that kid in front of them. But you know they're not looking for a young guy. Now, Coach Fran just verbalized it. But I can tell you guys, if it's a Division I program and they had a bad season last year, they are not thinking about a high school kid. They are not thinking about a high school kid being in there too deep if they had a terrible season last year. And you're not a 5 or a 4 or a real high 3-star. They're not thinking about you. And you're looking for something late. So why go after that school? Why go after that school? So what everybody needs is a strategy. There is a school that would take a look at you. There is a school that would offer you a PWO or a scholarship, probably at the Division I level, probably at the high D2 level. But can you find them? Do you know the strategy that would make you appealing to them? So those are things that you have to think about. You're not going to have, unless you are a 5-star, 4-star, or a real high 3-star, you're not going to have, if you feel like you're a Division I athlete, you're probably not going to have over 3 or 4 offers. But that's okay because you can only go to one school anyway. We got a kid, once again, shout out Hannibal's going to Arizona. He had 2 or 3 Power 4 offers. If this was 4 or 5 years before, he'd have 10. If they were focused on high school kids like they used to be, Hannibal Carter would have 10, 12 offers. But they're not focused on high school kids. So he's got 2 to 3 Power 4 offers. But you can only go to one anyway. And we had to be strategic to get those 2 to 3. Not because of his talent, because they're not looking for high school kids at the highest level. So with our athletes, before you go pro, we give them an evaluation, which tells them what level we feel that they can play at. Then we have to get strategic. We have to get strategic to get them to that level. So there's a lot of work that goes into that. You have to look at different angles. You have to do a bunch of calls. You got to find out what they're looking for. But you have to find a strategic angle for yourself to be attractive to the school that you feel like you can play at. And most of them are not going to be looking your way first if you're a high school kid. So you got to get active. And not just active, because you guys have been active. You guys have been DMing, but are you strategic? So the first thing you guys need to do, whether it's from us or someone else, is get a very, very sound film evaluation. The film evaluation is going to tell you what level you should be pitching yourself. Then when you find out what level you should be pitching yourself at, then you got to get strategic. You got to find out which school would make the most sense based off of where they're at, their needs, the whole 9 yards. So there's work involved, you guys. But it's out there. There are still opportunities out there for you high school kids, you JC kids. There are a bunch of opportunities still out there, but you need to know the strategy. The portal's about to open up January 2nd through the 16th, 2026. Do you know if the team that you're thinking about is going to go heavy in the portal, or are they going to back off a little bit? Here's a perfect strategy, and this is one why you guys that are younger, your GPA and your transcripts become even more prevalent today for these high school kids, because there's some schools, even at the Division 1 level, that will not be as prevalent in the portal because that doesn't fit their strategy. It doesn't fit their model because they're a high academic school. A high academic school. So a school like Drake, a school like Georgetown, a school like maybe a Rice University isn't going to be as prevalent in the portal because of the academic component. A lot of the kids that are jumping in the portal ain't going to be the highest academic kids or want to go to the academic school. So that might be an angle for you. It may be a strategy for you if you've got great grades. But what's your strategy? So, you guys, always keeping your eyes and ears. If there's something you want, it is your job to be dialed in on it. It is your job to know what's the fastest way from A to B. It's your job to know how you're going to strategize to get your piece of the pie, all right? And that's what we do with Before You Go Pro. We do that for athletes across the country. So hopefully you guys got some great advice, some food for thought out of this huddle. Monday through Friday, you guys, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Coach Wood is going all in because it's time. It's time that you guys have the veil unlifted. It's time that you guys are no longer underserved. It's time that you guys know what's going on in this industry. It's what I feel like I didn't know. I feel like I dropped the ball in my career because I really didn't fully know what I was in. Okay, and I don't want that to be you guys. So, hey, get down in that description box. Make sure that you check out our football resources. We work long and hard to provide great content, great education for you guys, you football players, you parents, you coaches out there, you fans. Get down in the description box. Check out what we got on the recruiting side. Check out what we got on the NIL side. Some great stuff for you guys. Then also make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you're notified whenever we release new content with Before You Go Pro. Hey, weekday huddle with Coach. I'm loving it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.